Graduated from IIT Bombay in 2004. I was entrepreneur. I started my entrepreneurial journey in 2005. I ran an tech company for 10 years. And so I was among the early ones from IIT Bombay to start something when the concept of venture capital or concept of entrepreneurship was not popular at campus. I learned all these things hard way. Frankly, that time there was no medium to understand what is venture capital and how does it help and how to bootstrap the company and all. But interestingly, I was able to manage and I raised venture capital in 2007 from seed fund. And it was an interesting journey. In 2016, I sold my company. And since I was very early one to start from IIT Bombay gang, so a lot of my juniors, when they started, they used to come to me for advice and help and mentorship. So I started doing angel investing from 2012, 2013 when the whole boom in the startup ecosystem was catching up in India and particularly in Powai in Mumbai. So I did around 20 odd angel investment from 2012, 2015, 16. And that gave me a good flavor of venture funded companies along with bootstrapping and old style companies which I was building. In 2017, I joined India Quotient. And now from last 4.5 years, I am here and I'm one of the third partner. Anand and Madhukar started India Quotient. We invest in now both consumer and B2B. We generally love product-based, technology-based ideas and the areas where in the initial stage the importance is more around how you build the product and how you build the traction and how you bring that behavior change in the customers for your offering. We typically invest $500,000 to $1 million in the company. Sometimes we end up investing $1.5 to $2 million also, but our sweet spot is between $500,000 to $1 million check size. So in simple words, venture capital is an institutional investor. Unlike, it's like a typical investor who is investing in your company, is buying a share in your company and at a very early stage. But this particular asset class was created way back when semiconductor industry was booming up in the world and like Intel and all those came up. And so the whole idea of venture capital to invest in disruptive ideas, which in the initial days no one have thought about that this concept can be made big. And so the whole idea of venture capital is to fund those innovations which looks very crazy in the beginning. No one is believing in it and you need money to create that technology or you need money to bring that behavior change in the human being and or a particular business process. So they are very risky because most of such innovation doesn't materialize because of the technology issue or because of the human behavior. But venture capital helps venture capitalists take that risk. They invest very early and they give disproportionate money to these companies to build that before they end up showing the actual profits and revenue. And in return, they expect a multifold return as compared to a typical private equity investor which invests in public market companies. So that's the broader difference, that they invest in something which can become very big in a limited time frame. So there are companies which have become very big, which we all see like in India. 8 to 12 years is the life typically of a fund. And these funds are regulated by governments. So in India, like SEBI regulate this fund. So it's a SEBI mandate. And they want their investors, right, investor interest to be protected, the people who invest in the fund. So the people who invest in the fund are called LPs. People who run the fund, like I'm the GP. And then we have an investment team which support us. So SEBI make sure that the LP's interest is protected, their returns come in a reasonable time frame. So there is a concept of this timeline which has been defined, and typically 10 years you can say is a lifetime of fund. Now there are new age funds which are coming up. I've not seen much in India, but in outside India where the lifespan is maybe 20 years, 15 years. Because people are working over that and they have realized that sometimes companies need more time than this to bring the actual profit. So nowadays some new funds are coming with have a longer time duration, but a simple answer is around 8 to 10 years. Since we invest at pre-seed and seed stage, so generally there is no PMF. In fact, most startup don't have a app also or a website also. So what we look for is how is the idea. Like, so for us, frankly, the idea is first, like how big is that idea? What's the market potential of that idea? How innovative it is? And what's the differentiating factor in that idea? So suppose someone is trying to say that, okay, I will bring, say, convenience in some form of doing a particular process, or say like social media related ideas where people are saying that we are creating something, a new way of people to connect and meet everyone. So basically we look for how innovative is the idea, how big is, what is the market potential, and second is like how relevant is this team experience to solve that particular problem. So at least at India Quotient we look at the not just idea but the team relevance to solve that problem. So there are ideas where you need more operational expertise, because where a founder, so like suppose say a logistics business, okay, so there you need more operations heavy businesses are there. So where the team, or there are like ideas where there is a strong technology or product angle which is needed, say a social media or content related ideas. So we look at market size, we look at team capability, we look at relevance of the team with respect to that idea, and then obviously we look at some other things like does they have some recommendation from people whom they have come to us, and do we know them through some network, whether we have worked with them in past, or maybe people in our network has worked with them in the past. So that also helps sometimes. So yeah, this is a good question. In fact, first blog which I wrote in my life was on this when I became the VC, that Golimar VC. That was the heading of that blog. And the idea of that blog was that there are a lot of ideas, I think, which doesn't need a venture capital. So suppose if someone is running a software agency, like in India, there are a lot of people who build software for other businesses, right? It's a typical service model. There is no technology element in terms of like as you grow bigger, you just need more and more people. Like say Infosys and all, like they have become very big companies. So they are great businesses. I'm not saying they are bad businesses. But in such businesses, a VC capital cannot play an important role. Or so ideas, say, suppose someone comes with an idea which is, say, a publishing business, which cannot maybe become very big. Suppose like there are ideas like people want to do say home tuition and all those ideas where people are thinking about just doing it in a limited area, not using any technology. So, or if I put a number, like if anyone wants to build something which has a potential of going to 100 crore in 5-8 years or 10 years revenue, and which can give maybe 20-30% profit, they are definitely great businesses, but they are not supposed to be built using venture capital. Frankly, if you ask me, when I started my own company, my vision of Think Labs was to take it to maybe maximum 50-100 crores. I never imagined that I will take it to a $100-200 million revenue. So if your vision is not as big as this, then I think there is no point in exploring venture capital, because VC will not mostly fund them. And it may happen that maybe someone just end up investing in you because he likes you or he knows you, and you got capital, and then you will get distracted unnecessarily. I have got a venture capital, so this is a great idea and I should keep doing it. So I think those ideas I will never recommend people to come to VCs. So frankly, unicorn is a little like overrated word in our country or in the venture capital overall. If you ask me, I want my startups to become big. Now to become big or to become a value like unicorn, like say 7,000 crores in today's term, okay, it can be done in various ways. So the whole ultimate aim is that say suppose a startup becomes say 500 crore revenue and वो 250 crore का profit generate कर रहा है. Definitely this company, and if it is going reasonably fast, say like 50 to 100% year on year, then this company can become at 500 crore revenue, which is less than $100 million, it can easily become a unicorn. You look at India Mart, it's listed today closer to $4-5 billion, 700 crore revenue, 300 crore profit. So basically, frankly, if you ask me what I look for, that is it a large market enough that company can go to few hundreds of crores of revenue, and they can generate maybe at least when they become very big and when they have all the efficiencies, can they generate 30 to 50% profit. So I look at in those terms first, and then definitely I try to see that what all is needed to reach there, and can it be done in that limited time or not, and whether they can create a differentiation or a moat in the business. And then I take a call to fund. Definitely while doing all that, they may reach to a unicorn status, but frankly the aim is not कि यार आप just unicorn बन जाओ. So frankly I don't like हवा वाले unicorn, and there are many such unicorns in our country, and I frankly don't like and admire that. So एक चीज़ बहुत important है, good that you asked this question. There is a big myth about revenue multiple as a valuation benchmark. Early stage में ऐसा कुछ नहीं होता है. People have the preconceived mindset and notions होते हैं. हर fund का एक model होता है. Okay, so suppose if a fund which has a standard check size of $1 million, and suppose they take 20% equity, that's their standard model. So if they are investing $1 million in a company, they take 20% and the company becomes $5 million value company. Now startup can have a zero revenue, still it's valued $5 million. Suppose startup has a $1 million revenue, then it's getting 5 times multiple of that revenue. A startup have maybe say $500,000 revenue, so it is getting 10 times. So ये रिवर्स कैलकुलेशन करते हैं कि अच्छा मुझे 5 मिलियन का वैल्यूएशन मिल गया और मेरा फंडिंग हो गया, तो इसका मतलब है कि 10x मल्टीपल हो गया या 5x मल्टीपल हो गया. दिस कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ मल्टीपल वर्क्स फॉर द मैच्योर्ड कंपनीज, ग्रोथ स्टेज और लेट स्टेज कंपनीज और पब्लिक कंपनीज. देयर आर सम नोशंस ऑफ मल्टीपल, बट टुडे इफ यू सी आज की तारीख में तो 400 टाइम्स पे भी इन्वेस्टमेंट हो रहा है, 40 टाइम्स में भी इन्वेस्टमेंट्स हो रहा है. सो द रैशनल इज नॉट दैट आर दे वैल्यूड दैट मच. People are basically investing for the future potential. The VC is investing for the future potential. VC is not giving you a 20x or a 40x revenue on day one. Basically, VC believe that it's a great company. Whatever they saw today, they were okay to give a price. And for them, that price number has come from their fund strategy, which I told you. So there are funds which have a standard check size of say $20 million at early stage. Or not very early, but early. And when I define early is basically 250K to maybe 20 million. This is all like the seed, series A, series B. All the three category has now become practically a early stage now in our country. Now इस range में जो भी raise कर रहा है, it's all the fund की strategy. किसी fund का strategy 5 million डाल के 20% लेने का है, तो practically आपका valuation 25 million हो गया. तो I think ये notion concept of multiple in the early stage doesn't make sense. Founder can feel happy कि यार मुझे ज़्यादा multiple मिला, मुझे कम multiple मिला. It doesn't matter. What founder has to look here at the current stage of my company, how much capital I need in next 12 to 18 months, and where I can reach. Accordingly, he has to go and pitch those investors who can give that much capital. And each fund based on their model, internal model, some prefer taking 15%, some prefer taking 20%, or mostly all institutional investor takes between 15 to 20. तो इस रेंज के बीच में अलग अलग फंड का अलग अलग मॉडल है. You go and pitch them and you get your funding. यार एक्चुअली काफ़ी टाइम तक पता नहीं चलता है कि विच इज़ दैट वन राइट. सो सिग्नल मतलब नेगेटिव, मतलब नॉट नेगेटिव सिग्नल बट फॉल्स सिग्नल बहुत मिलते हैं. फंड रेज हो रहा है आपकी कंपनी का, तो आपको लगता है कि यार आई फाउंड अ विनर, बट एक्चुअली दोज आर नॉट द राइट सिग्नल. दे कैन गिव यू सम इंडिकेशन बट दे आर नॉट स्ट्रॉन्ग इनफ सिग्नल. सो आई थिंक it take time to actually get one right, and you need to have a patience. Most VCs unfortunately don't have that patience. and they keep moving and increasing their investment rates. But I think once you get one right and actually you are right, it creates a grid, right? Consensus, yes. Non-consensus, right or wrong. So right means that actually you were right in predicting what you predicted. Means ultimately your fund make tons of money through that investment. Wrong means you predicted but you failed. Ultimately company band ho gaya, khatam ho gaya. Like Theranos in US, right? So right, that is right and wrong. Consensus means everyone aligned is aligned with you. So like there are some companies which starting में लगता है कि बहुत सही है, मतलब ये तो next Uber है, ये next Flipkart है, Amazon है, right? So consent, like everyone is aligned with you. Non-consent means people are not aligned. सब किसी को लगता है कि बहुत अच्छी कंपनी है, किसी को लगता है ये अच्छी कंपनी नहीं है. So this model was created by Howard Marks. He is a legendary in venture capital and overall investing world. So what he predicted and which is right कि सबका कंसेंसस है कि ये कंपनी बहुत सेक्सी है, ये स्पेस बहुत सही है, ये कंपनी ग्रो करेगी. तो मोर एंड मोर पीपल कीप इन्वेस्टिंग इन दैट कंपनी वेरी सून, राइट? सो लॉट ऑफ कैपिटल कम्स इन दैट कंपनी. सो यू मेक, सो सपोज, बट इफ यू आर प्रोवन रॉन्ग देन यू लूज मनी. इफ यू आर प्रोवन राइट बट यू मेक सम मनी बिकॉज एवरी वन इज इन्वेस्टेड देयर. तो बहुत ज़्यादा डाइल्यूशन हो गया है कंपनी के अंदर. नॉन कंसेंसस एंड इफ यू आर रॉन्ग तो फिर तो ऑब्वियसली नॉन कंसेंसस, और इफ यू आर प्रूवन रॉन्ग तो कुछ बनेगा नहीं. बट नॉन कंसेंसस एंड इफ यू आर राइट देन यू मेक टन्स ऑफ मनी बिकॉज एवरीवन वाज प्रेडिक्टिंग लाइक रोब्लॉक्स. किसी को नहीं लगा था कि रोब्लॉक्स कैन बिकम सो बिग. और सो देयर आर लॉट ऑफ सच कंपनीज विच लाइक पीपल प्रेडिक्टेड कि नहीं यार ये तो पॉसिबल नहीं है या ये नहीं होगा, ये टाइम लगेगा. बट इफ यू एक्चुअली एंड अप बीइंग राइट देन अल्टीमेटली अ VC विल मेक टन्स ऑफ मनी. सो दिस इज द व्हाट अ VC लुक फॉर आइडियली. In our case, it shortest has been 2 weeks. Like within a week, agreement and everything got over, and another 1 week for basic filing and all, and money was wired within. So 2 weeks. Highest is in some rare cases where there was some issues in flipping the company, like moving from India to US entity and all that. So it has taken 3 months and all. But typically, if you ask me, 1 month is a good enough time in our case. 1 month or maybe sometimes 5 weeks. But and most seed investor have a typical time frame of 3-4 weeks to 6-8 weeks. So 2 months is a reasonable time, I will suggest, if someone wants to budget it. But as you go from seed stage to Series A and then from Series A to Series B, then this time move towards from 1 month average to 2 months and then from 2 months to 3 months. So typically at least someone should budget that 6 months before they will get empty, they should start hitting the road to raise capital. It will take 1-2 months to figure out that investor, and then another 1-2 months, and maybe having 1-2 months buffer. So there are 2 things. First thing is, you need just 1 yes. A founder has to remember. In each round, you just need 1 yes. So going to 50 no or like first hearing 100 no's, it happens with many good companies. So don't get disheartened. ये इस दुनिया का और इस process का, इस journey का part है. Rejections you will hear multiple times and many no's will come. But actually the best part is कि you just need 1 yes. एक जना आपको यस करेगा, आपको कैपिटल मिल जाएगा. तो यू हैव टू कीप फाइटिंग एंड फिगरिंग आउट हु इज दैट 1 यस. एंड इन दिस प्रोसेस ऑफ दैट 1 यस, ट्राई टू लुक फॉर द पार्टनर हु अंडरस्टैंड यू एंड योर बिजनेस वेल इनफ. इट्स अ लॉन्ग पार्टनरशिप. आई टेल इट मोर लाइक मैरिज. Okay, and marriage, and these are like slightly unreversible decisions. Okay, it becomes problematic if you don't have a right partner, right believer. If you don't find, maybe there is a someone who believe in your idea, but आप दोनों का working style अलग है, and especially in the early stage, the investor is more like your fourth co-founder or fifth co-founder, right? So I think this is important. The decision should not be just based on a fund. It should be based on the partner with whom you are partnering. So Gagan Goyal of India Quotient. So your decision should be based on not just India Quotient, but Gagan Goyal of India Quotient, say in this case. So I think this is very, very important. Okay, now coming to the other part which you said, see, feedback is important. I completely agree. I was myself an entrepreneur for 10 years. I could not raise my Series A. Eventually, I ended up selling my company. 2 साल तक मैं सीरीज ए की कोशिश करता रहा. मेरे को पता ही नहीं चला कि वेयर आई वॉज रॉन्ग. आई रियलाइज दैट मेरा विज़न ही छोटा था. मैं ये जो आपको पहले बताया, मैं 100 करोड़ वाली कहानी बेचता था. मुझे लगता था 100 करोड़ की कंपनी बनेगी, 20 करोड़ 30 करोड़ का प्रॉफिट होगा, बहुत बड़ा है यार. किसी वीसी को नहीं समझ में आता था. एंड दे नेवर इन्वेस्टेड. बट some people gave me feedback, some people didn't give me feedback. Actually, somehow, situationally, for some reasons, I don't agree to this, by the way, but people don't give a right, authentic feedback to the team. So I think, yeah, I will say, don't care for that. This world is designed in a way that people are afraid of giving authentic feedback. Because if I am wrong in giving a wrong feedback, मेरा लाइफ का करियर में प्रॉब्लम आ सकता है. इसलिए लॉट ऑफ टाइम लॉट ऑफ वीसीज डोंट गिव अ फीडबैक, और दे डिले इन द फीडबैक, और दे गिव अ स्लाइटली क्रिप्टिक फीडबैक. टीम सही नहीं है, मार्केट सही नहीं है, दे विल स्टिल से कि नहीं हमें समझ में नहीं आया, मेरी इन्वेस्टमेंट कमेटी को समझ में नहीं आया. सो फ्रैंकली, सो आई एग्री दैट फाउंडर्स शुड गेट अ फीडबैक, बट वो डिफ़िकल्ट है मिलना. इसलिए उस पर ज़्यादा रिलाई नहीं करो. मेरा ये फीडबैक है. Like, founders should not chase this feedback. Though if you ask me, I try to give as much feedback and as authentic as possible when I am talking to the founders. Many a time, because of this authenticity, I have faced a immediate criticism from the founder within that call, or maybe post that call also. Because किसी को भी नहीं, मेरे को भी नहीं पसंद आएगा ना. आप मुझे बोलेंगे कि यार आप अच्छे इन्वेस्टर नहीं हो या आप में ये प्रॉब्लम है, तो मुझे भी नहीं पसंद आएगा. पर्सनल लाइफ में भी अपना फ्रेंड अपने को क्रिटिसाइज करता है, अच्छा नहीं लगता. वो फाउंडर इतनी मेहनत करके आ रहा है, तो मैं उसको कुछ क्रिटिकल फीडबैक दूंगा, तो आई नो कि क्रिटिकल फीडबैक पीपल डोंट लाइक इट, एंड दैट्स वाई सम वीसीज अगेन नहीं देते हैं. बट आई, इफ़ यू आस्क मी, आई गिव अ फीडबैक. आई गिव अ फीडबैक ओवर ईमेल और विद इन दैट कॉल. आई प्रीफर गिविंग अ फीडबैक विद इन दैट कॉल, और मे बी कॉल अप अ फाउंडर. बिकॉज लाइक वी रिजेक्ट 90% कंपनीज ऑन मे बी फर्स्ट कॉल इट सेल्फ. Okay, so I prefer giving a feedback, and I prefer giving authentic feedback. In fact, like a lot of time I've seen ki the people whom I've rejected, they bring me a deal that, sir, you didn't invest in me, but he is my friend, and I think he should raise money from you because I like whatever we discussed, and I like the way you guided me during my journey. So I think, like, at least I follow this practice, but I know it's difficult to be done. Yeah.